Those that was to be by the table of the Lubavitcher Rebbe Zechat Tzadik Levrocha by the Seder. At the end of the Seder, he used to pour back the Kois Shel Aliyo to the bottle. Simple. It would take a nice 5 minutes, sometimes it would take 10 minutes to get the wine, Kois Shel Aliyo, back into the bottle.
The small opening.
Is it big
The
cup?
whole oil.
Big cup?
No, a regular glass cup. Everyone would sing Keliata. No one knows the formula. It would change from year to year, but this is basically the way it would be. To say this is Kois Shel Aliyo. Give me the other bottle of seltzer, please. It's almost to the top, right? Everyone's singing Keliata v'yoydeka Oikaya Rameveka Keliata v'yoydeka Elikaya Rameveka Keliata v'yoydeka Eloika. Sometimes go like this.
Must be a reason.
You see, that would take sometimes up to 10 minutes till the cup of Elio, the wine, ended up in the bottle. There were people that tried to figure out the pattern. Different years with different patterns. But it was only, you have to have this incredible brain to remember,
Year to year.
Even 1 year you can't write it down. So Tuesday, how many times this way and that way and that. So given. So what's really okay? It's the Himmel de Kazachen, Rebbe Shazachen, Grace Rebbes, but obviously there's something to do with halacha here. There's a halacha issue here. And after that, you have Rebbe Shazachen. But Chabad always has to start with a Gemara, and there has to be a few Rishonim involved. It hardly ever starts just, Sfura Makdosha. It usually starts in a Gemara somewhere. And this is our Gemara. What does our Gemara have to do with the Seder and Keliata? Very simple. We make a kois for Aliyo, right? Mm-hmm. So Aliyo drinks. What happens when you drink from the kois?
Pogum.
It's pogum.
Aliyo makes pogum?
Yeah, Aliyo makes his pogum. So now Aliyo drinks, it's pogum.
You have to fill it up.
You're not chas v'shalom to pour it into the sink. My grandfather gets very upset when he sees, like after Kiddush Abdullah, the kids take we're not talking about top of the line wine. We're talking about not the Baron Herzog Choshev and wine. We're talking about, Ganelis Langer. So at the end of the cup, the kids take it in the kitchen, they pour it out in the sink, and then they wash out the Maizeda. That could be the worst crime. Koishel broche, bal tashches. Every crime in the one little deed. So, obviously, koishel aliyo, you're not going to go pour it out. But it's pogum. You're going to put it straight in the bottle. Tomorrow, if you're going to drink the wine for Kiddush, you're drinking yain pogum. So you have to be metakin it. And now if you want to be metakin it, there's a problem. Because there's two shittas how you fix up the pogum. Whatever works for the one shitta is according to the other shitta, that's the worst thing you can do. Sounds like a Jewish conundrum. Whatever according to one opinion is the tikkun, according to the other opinion is the kilkul. That's the way the Bach holds, at least. The Bach holds that like this. So he holds like this. It's brought in the Tur that there was minig Ashkenaz, and then there's another minig. Minig Tzarfas, minig Ashkenaz, say. So now, one minig said, this was an Ashkenaz, they said, why does the Chazal say that if you drink out of a cup, this is pogum? The word pogum and not posel. It's like a funny word, pogum. Like you asked that yesterday. Someone asked yesterday, why is it called pogum? Not
I ask.
you asked it. Why is it called pogum? Pogum because he said Rebbe Leo Mishapaida that it's called pogum because just like a mizbeach has a pegima, or just like a sakin. Anyone here a shoichet? Like the sakin has to be flat, chad v'cholok, and it cannot allowed to have any pegimois. So if it has a pegima, you have to be metakin the pegima. So what do you do if the knife has a pegima? You take a rock and you spit on the rock, or you put a little seltzer on the rock, and then you start fixing your metakin the pegima. You fix up the pegima. A mizbeach can have a pegima. The whole mizbeach becomes puzzle. What do you do when the mizbeach gets a pegima? You metakin the pegima. So also here, it doesn't become, according to this shitta, when a cup becomes pogum, it's not like this whole wine becomes pogum. It's not like the wine is tainted. There's germs in the wine. There is, this little part is missing, so this kois shel bracha is pogum. So if you're going to pour in a little more wine, you fix the pegima, it's not pogum anymore. You fix the knife, you fix the mizbeach, you smeared a little more cement, and now it's chad v'cholok, it's good. That's one opinion. The other opinion says, no, it's the other way around. Whatever you pour into this cup, this whole cup is tainted. This whole cup is tainted. So now anything you pour in here, it's like this cup has germs, lamazan. So you put in more, that also become a pogum. It's not going to help. You can pour in a whole barrel of wine into here. It's not going to become ois pogum. What's the eitzah? The eitzah is to pour it into a bottle. And how do you do it? You do it kama bottle. You pour it in little by little, and it becomes bottle. And the Magen Avraham says that even that opinion, and it's to do with Yeridea, so that he says that, but the sum total needs to be that the bottle has roiv keneged what's in the cup.
Pouring back, right?
Yeah. But still, you have to do it slowly, kama bottle. You don't want to overwhelm it. Kama bottle. Why you need both is okay. So the Bach, what should you do? So he says you should do both. That in order to do the eitzah that everyone's going to be happy, so you take the bottle and you pour a little bit in here. So one opinion holds ois pogum, and then you go kama bottle. You go in slowly. And the Magen Avraham says you should also make sure that the bottle should have roiv keneged the cup. So this way, you're fixed from alazait, and l'kol hadeis is good. Whatever, all opinions will agree it's good.
So this is what the Rebbe did.
Right. We'll see in the Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch, the Alter Rebbe paskins l'kula, not like the Bach. The Alter Rebbe paskins like the Shulchan Aruch l'kula. But Lepoil, that's what the Rebbe basically did. He did it with a few more shticks, which that makes it the Rebbe should twist. But the general thing of going like this, and then going like this, and doing it slowly on here, that is mamish, that's the Bach. Because the Bach says then, according to Tzorfas, Ashkenaz, according to every Shitta, you're covered, and this yayin is not yayin pogum. We don't want to pour out Elyon of his wine. It's a koishel brocha. It's bal tashchis. It has a special schus of Elyon. It's alamailas. But still, we don't want to make kiddush later on yayin pogum. So we want to do it according to all shittas. So this is a kunst to do it to all shittas. Now you understand. Now you understand why this whole thing. Like after the seder in Lubavitch, there isn't. We don't say. Yeah, so
You don't sing those songs.
No, so what kids what keeps the kids lebedik for after the seder? So the kids love it. The keliata this way, that way. It's wine is going this way, that way. So the kids are excited, and that's
So
what keeps them lebedik.
That's the minhag of Chabad or only the Rebbe?
I don't know what everyone does. In my house, that's what we do.
You do it.
Yeah, it makes it That's instead of Chad Gadya.
You learned it from the Rebbe. You were
Yeah,
the Rebbe.
yeah.
So
I wasn't too young for that. I wasn't there when
you
the Rebbe
never
said
did.
no.
So when these Chabad kids grow up and become shluchim and go out to college in Wisconsin,
Yeah.
And all these people in here that they all probably say, could be treifin, but they probably, and they sing Chagadi and all of this, and then they can sing.
They
sing whatever they need to sing. Oh, for sure. What do you think?
Shluchim do it.
I was thinking.
They
need whatever. They do whatever they need to do.
I was thinking. Glad to hear it.
Oh, for sure.
Why the Gemara or the Torah said pogum? Why dafka this word? Pogum starts with the letter P. Started with the P. You take your drink, you make it pogum. You're starting with your P.
With the P.
This is why it starts pogum.
Okay. Okay, you know what? Let's not go in the Gemara. Let's just go straight now to the Shulchan Aruch.
Okay, where?
The Shulchan Aruch, we're holding Siman Kuf Pei Beis.
Again P?
Page, yeah, it's again Pei. Page Tuf Kuf Ches. Page Tuf Kuf Ches.
Yes.
Yeah. Tuf Kuf Ches, it's the second half of the Siman. 4 weeks ago we learned the first half of the Siman. I waited to learn the second half of the Siman because it was important to learn first the Gemara that we learned last night about pogum. Page Tov Kuf Ches.
Okay.
Got it? Okay. Sif Dalet. Kois shel bracha tzarich shelo yiyeh pogum. It must not be pogum. Shim shasam imenu pogmai. If you drink from it, it becomes pogum. Va'afila lo hikriv elov es piv. Even if you didn't put your mouth to it. Ela shafach l'toich piv. So if you went like this, you didn't put your mouth. Right. Let's not try it.
Poured it in.
Yeah, you just poured it into your mouth, but you didn't. So no germs. Doesn't matter.
Didn't touch the cup even. Yeah.
Right, his lips didn't touch the cup. Mach nicht tois. Avlim shafach men al tech yodoi. But if he poured it into his hand, oil tech kli, and he put it into a different kli, vishas, and he drank, then it's not a problem.
That's not pogum.
Not pogum. In other words, it's a big chiddush because yes, the Rashba, according to one answer, said that this was really the machloikas of Beishama Bezillah. Beishama says no problem, you could pour it into your hand, and the korpus doesn't become pogum. And Beis Hillel says it is a problem, according to one answer in the Rashba, and we pass him like Beis Hillel. But so Kamash Malon Lekula, we don't pass him like that answer of the Rashba, and we say that everyone agrees that if you're going to take a little bit of the wine and pour it in your hand and drink it, this does not become pogum. But if you're going to go like this, you're going to just pour it into your mouth, that does become pogum.
So in other words, pogum is not only missing, but it has to go in the mouth. According to this.
Yeah. It's sort of not covered for Klapi Maila. If it was from this cup was poured into a hand or different toys. But like someone already opened the bottle. Someone already started to drink from it. So if you say open the bottle, you pour it into another kois and you brought it in the other. It's like that doesn't matter. Kpeda.
Nicht gefährlich.
Nicht gefährlich. Oh, very good. Nicht gefährlich. But now, this kois you're giving to the melech, and someone already drank from this kois. It doesn't matter that there's germs in the cup, not germs in the cup. But someone already drank from this kois. So the pasnish. Yeah. So obviously it's not germs because a person's lips are not going to it.
They didn't have such things, germs, when
right.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It was not such muslim.
Yeah, they did have people live. Even without the muslim, it was maybe an istinus.
Yeah, right. It's not nice. It's fooey.
We'll tell you what was problematic. Because we had it last week, right? We lived in she was an istinus. She was with the lady that was upset that she didn't get the kosher bracha, right?
Right.
Oh yeah, she broke all the barrels.
Right, so there is an of an istinus. But this can't be because you say, oh, the melech is an istinus. Because what kind of istinus is? What do you care? It didn't touch the cup. It's not bekovedik. It's only kosher if you pour it a little bit out of the kois. It has to be that the kois is still considered a kois moli. Or he took a lot of wine out of it, but he poured the wine from a big kois into small, so it's considered moli. Oisha Zodek Latoiche is a Davalak Bia Yain Shia Koismoli, he throws something into it, he takes a can, a cover, the can, he put a rack into it, and now the wine gets picked up. Shia Koismoli, now the Kois looks smallish, and it's Arachlis Moli Kulam Yain, Kedai Berevius. It's enough to have a revius of wine. But actually, this revius should not be chosim.
Full reviews.
Yeah.
No, the cup shouldn't be chassid. It shouldn't look chassid.
It shouldn't look chosim from a revius. It's not so clear. If he drank from the barrel, even if he drank from the kad, the jug, or the barrel, chiktana nivkim kol yain shaba, all the yain becomes pogum. Afilu im shasam achavis shalechi gedola. But if he drank from a chavis of eights, which is big, so then that doesn't. We don't care about that. Ein lahakbid. V'yesh machmirin. There are those that are machmir. V'yesh loch. A huge barrel, a barrel of wine. So if he opens up the spigot and he pours it into his mouth,
Then it's not with the pogum.
that whole yayin becomes.
How he can pick it up and pour to his mouth?
There's a
They
barrel.
have those days. They had a tap.
Open up the tap. Open up the faucet.
Yeah.
Faucet, maybe.
And he puts his mouth underneath. You know, he's the wine taster. He works in the wine cellars. What a job. Could you imagine? There's people, their whole job is to taste wine.
You know how much money they make? A lot of money.
Do they have Knish tasters?
No, they don't swallow it.
They have by kind of that buckram that clean the barrels,
We'll tell you,
and they,
they're
just from the
forgetting.
fumes they get so
I know that.
Chicken.
Chicken, yeah.
We should keep Balayom.
Wine tasting.
שיקום מהכסף שיש לו.
Yeah. So, if he drinks from the big barrel, also he should be machmer. Shaloi laniach lishtes afilam mipi barza machavis gedoyla. Okay. So, bottom line in Sif Daled is we say that kosher bracha should not be pogum. Should not be pogum. If you drink from that cup, it becomes pogum. But if you pour it into your hand or in a different kos, it's not pogum. If you poured a lot out of this kos, then re-pour it into a smaller cup. It's beseder.
Okay. So, basically the same idea that we had here with the kais. The Gemara said, right? Drinking from it directly.
Right. Sifei kos pogum yechelum latakna edish yisifel of mat yain. If it's pogum, you can add water. I mean,
Ma'at yain.
a little yain from the barrel, from the bottle, and it becomes metukin. Like every pagam, you can make a tikkun for the pagam. Shikara pogum mishum shesosa mimenu. Dikra the pagam is because he drank from it. Shechozen moisav alov. Now that he's moisav more wine, mitakim bekach, it becomes metukin. Kamoi pagimas mizbeach, just like a pagim on the mizbeach. Shemitakim bechozav esoismoi. That's the shot why it's called pogum. Just like the mizbeach could have a pagima, but then you could fix the pagima on the mizbeach, and the mizbeach becomes kosher again. V'chenim hirze yain shebekois pogum lekankam when his bottle batoiche beroiv the kosher.
Just like the.
You could do the other way. You could pour from the kois into the bottle. Before we continue, the Alter Rebbe goes with the shitta, not like the Bach I was saying before. The Bach holds that this minig of pouring from the bottle into the cup and the minig from the cup to the bottle is a contradiction. If you do this, according to this opinion, the other one is no good, and according to the other opinion, this is no good. So according to the one opinion, the only way to do it is to pour from the bottle into a cup. Anything else is ruining everything. If you put it, this opinion was, if you put it this way, from the kois into the bottle, forget about it. You ruined the whole bottle.
It's a lie, because the bottle is full.
Good, but that's what the Bach holds. The Bach holds that each opinion disagrees with the other one. But the Alter Rebbe is saying, no, you can do this one, you can do that one. The Kol Mokem Ein Lasses Kain. You shouldn't do it this way. You shouldn't do the eights of pouring the wine into the bottle. Better to put from the bottle into the kois. L'chein noyagim the minig is lohoisav alav ma kankan. The first thing is that you put a little wine from the bottle into the cup. And then you pour it into the bottle, and then you take it out of the bottle, l'shem bracha, for the bracha, kamashikosa b'simen kuv pei gimel, like it says in the simen kuv pei gimel. Now, if you remember in simen kuv pei gimel, you don't have to remember, you could look right now on the other side of the page, it's Siv Daled. One of the 10 things of kosher bracha is yesh meforshim, Siv Daled, in the next simen. Yesh meforshim chayb l'shen ashkenaz, frisch. שציינו מהחובס מיד צמח לברכה ובדין הסנס שג'אנת הרבה אין צריך לשאוף חמה כאן שמחזיק בו יין צמח לברכה ולא מהחובס. So one of the 10 conditions of a kosher bracha is chai. It has to be fresh out of the bottle. So the Alter Rebbe totally doesn't hold of the chumrah of the Bach. Says really there was one eitzah to take from the bottle and put it into the kois. Second eitzah, put it from the kois into the bottle. One of them alone is enough. But the mitzvah and a mufchar of how to do it is like this. First you take from the bottle and put it into the kois. Then you put from the kois into the bottle, and next time you want to make kiddush, you pour it straight out of the bottle. Because this is called chai, it's frisch. In other words, like this. If you have a kois, right, by kiddush by night, or say you have a mezuman by night, and you make a kosher bracha. After you finish kosher bracha, you drink a little bit. You put the kois aside, you pour in a little bit. You'll cover it with a cup. You put it on the counter, and tomorrow for kiddush you'll use it. What's wrong? There's no pogum here. There's not a pogum.
Because you added.
Right. But it's nicht frisch. It has to be fresh out of the bottle. Fresh, it's not fresh out of the bottle. So that's why the Alter Rebbe holds. Not like the Bach, like we were saying before, because one opinion doesn't hold of the other opinion. But Alter Rebbe holds both eitzahs work. The better eitzah, however, is to put from the bottle into the kois. But for a different reason, you have to put from the kois into the bottle. Not because the Bach, because it holds like this opinion, so hold the other opinion, this opinion. No, for a different reason. Because the kois has to be fresh. It has to be fresh.
So that's why you're better off putting it back into the bottle.
Right.
Now what's the chassaron if it's a pogum? You can't make a bracha on it again?
No. The chassaron is, like we said yesterday, the Pasha, the chassaron is that the Navi says, Akrivei lo no lepechasecha, hayirtzecha, hayisaponecha. Are you going to give it to your king? Is he going to? He's going to be pleased. In other words, the Navi talks about different korbanos, piseach, kochush. That there's a very weak korbanos. It's a knakta little cows. They say you're going to bring it to your king, a gift like this. It's a knakta little cow. You're going to bring it. You think he's going to be pleased? We have the Haftorah booklet here.
We'll tell you. What do you put it there?
Doesn't matter. Bring any chumash with the Haftorah. It's a Barrett. It's a what Haftorah last week or 2 weeks ago. Akrivei no lepechasecha. Huh? Last week. It's Malachi. It's told us. Okay. So this is the Haftorah told us. So Ve'avesem gozel v'sapiseach v'sachoyle. You bring the shvache Ve'avesem v'samincha ertza oisem yedchem omar Hashem. What do you think? This is the. You think if you're going to bring it to your king, Kisagishin iverli v'zboyach ein ro, v'chisagishu piseach v'choyle ein ro. You say that you're going to bring a piseach, a choyle
blemish.
Yeah. Hakriveino lefechosecho, hayirtzecho, yisab panecho, mashem tzorkes. So when you bring your korban to the Eibishter, it has to be nice. It has to be meshubach. What do we dedicate our best time in the day to the Eibishter? In the morning when we're fresh. At night, when we come home, we come and we dedicate it to Zman to Kviyasitim L'Torah. We give our best koiches to the Eibishter.
That's why it's called breakfast fresh stick.
Frishtik.
Frisch.
Yeah, Frishtik, exactly.
You're learning.
Have to
This
be
ain't no
fish.
Yiddish, this
Yeah,
guy.
very
That's
good.
the business.
What do you put on the straw?
Frishtik. Okay, let's continue. Oizvov. By the way, what I said earlier about the Rebbe's minhag on the night of Pesach, it's just a speculation. I know it could be also for this reason. But if it was this reason, then why was it pouring back and forth and back and forth? According to the Bach, there is a cheshbon of pouring back and forth. According to this, you just do once. You just pour a little bit from the bottle into the kois, and then you take the whole kois and you pour it into the bottle. It's only according to the Bach that you pour a little into the kois, and when you put from the kois into the bottle, you do it kima, ma'at, ma'at.
The Rebbe used to do it for Chad Gadya, for the kids.
I know.
Make it longer.
There was no kids at the Seder.
Huh?
There was no kids at that Seder.
All the adults are as the kids.
Yeah. Siva.
The rabbit was also there?
In the kitchen.
She was there as
Yeah. Even if you put a little bit of water, that can fix the pogum. Ben yaim ben sharmashkim. Shem chamar medinim eyav shel takna b'minam. If you can't be metaken the beer with some more beer, or the vodka with some more vodka, or the wine with some more wine, then you put in some water. It's only if it doesn't get ruined because of the mayim. Now, if you add water, it's not oil l'shtia. Because yain, afilu yesh loid yain yochol takna de mayim. You can even because yain, you can always add water. Kol she'en mekalkal v'kach, as long as you're not ruining it with water. Sharei regilim l'moizga b'yain, because it's a regilis to put in water into wine. Now, let me ask you something. If you had a bottle of beer. For those that like beer, I don't understand beer. But are you the that like a fleshel of beer? Yeah, okay. I stellt a fleshel beer. You open it up, and it's a hot day, and you're waiting to have a cold beer. You pour yourself a half a cup of beer, and I'm going to take a little bit of seltzer. Or no, better yet, I'm going to take a Polish Wasser. I'm going to open up the Poland Springs, and I'll put in a little bit to your cup.
It's going to kill the beer.
Exactly. Right.
Kill beer.
That's what the Alter Rebbe is saying. It has to be she'enim miskalkel machmas hamayim. Ad she'enim roim l'shtia. It can't be miskalkel machmas hamayim.
I guess you don't put
If
that
beer,
much.
if you're going to put in water,
Depends how much water you put in.
right.
It depends how strong the wine is also.
Exactly.
The wine, if it's very strong, then there's no problem.
So I don't know what to say. Bizman hazeh, the Chassam Sofer says clearly. Chassam Sofer in the Ghost Shulchan Aruch says this eighth of water into wine doesn't work. Bizman hazeh. Why?
It's watered down the wine already.
Besides, no one.
That's the truth. They do put a lot of water to make wine.
But whatever they put in, it's with a cheshbon.
No, it's not true. It's not 100% true. It depends which bottles. From the 40 and above, it's not true.
Right.
$40 and above, no tiny water. It's nothing.
Right. There are wines that there's no water in it. Even the cheap wines that there is water, there's a cheshbon. They don't just, open the faucet and they like there was a guy here that saying that he used to work in the Lower East Side that Kedem had a place, and at that time they had two types of wines. They had the Malaga and I forgot the Concord. And he
They had only a few kinds.
That's the way he says the story. He says the shop that was selling two types of wines. And there was, and he says that it was the same wine. They used to just slap on stickers, Azalcha and Azalcha.
The Malaga was heavy.
Very heavy Malaga. I can't drink that stuff. Oof.
Nobody can drink it.
So B'meila,
Make it.
that wine taka, you could say water makes no difference. Yeah, water, no water, but Bizman Hazeh, the Chassam Sofer says that water does not work Bizman Hazeh, because no one adds wine to and puts water. No one does such a thing. You ever saw someone
Drops.
opens up?
They make the-
But it's Sfaradim, every time we put the wine.
But only 3 little
Tipa,
drops.
tipa, tipa.
Tipa,
They do
yeah.
3 little
Oh,
drops.
bit.
Sfardim.
Huh?
3 little drops. They
So I don't know. I'm not sure how to be medayik in the Alter Rebbe.
According to the
Because on the
Venice-
one hand, the Alter Rebbe says, "Vu she'einem meskalkelim ma'achim hasamayim, at she'einem ruim l'shtiya." You're not allowed to ruin it with the water. If you put a little bit of water, you don't ruin the wine. But the last line he says, "Sherei regilim l'moizge b'yayin," because the regil is to pour in water. Did you ever see someone? Okay, the Sfardim, that's a Kabbalah, it's a different thing.
Big Kabbalah,
But
they
when you
also-
not, but besides Kabbalah, have you ever seen in a bar that they give you a koisi ayin and they add a little bit of water?
Yeah, I don't go to bar.
Bar no.
You never went to
The rest-
Chasna?
Bar
You never
Minan,
went to
they
Oh
don't-
yeah,
Chasna?
that kind of bar.
Yeah, and they give you a koisi
Why?
ayin.
They
You
put
ever
ice.
saw that
They
No.
put ice.
Ice? In yayin?
With other things, with vodka.
With vodka,
Vodka,
but not, but not,
Not with yayin.
Not wine.
not with yayin.
What if it's
The Chassam Sofer says that water does not work today. Because he says it's not the regilus today. Now you got to be crazy to put water into wine. It ruins the whole wine.
Back in the days, in the Beis Hamikdash, they used to.
Back in the days, they used
Well,
to.
the Gemara.
It was very
The Gemara-
thick.
The Gemara
Right,
says
the Gemara.
You remember?
That's Malaga wine. You know,
that-
drink that. You
friend
have to
used to
put
work
water
with
on
wine
there.
years, so
The
the
wine
friend
in the
of mine
Gemara was
he's
not the
archaeological-
wine from the
archaeological.
20th century.
It was strong wine.
Archaeology,
They
yeah.
find out
Isaac,
seeds
then
from
they
Beit
couldn't
Hamikdash.
drink
They brought
it.
up.
That's what the Gemara says.
It's gonna
We
be
don't
so
know. We
ready.
don't have-
Where?
It's somewhere, I don't know.
Maybe
He works in
dying
Bar Ilan.
Italy, maybe. They
Okay,
know.
very nice. They always come up in Israel with these things. It was like a few years ago. They said they found a pit from a ta'ena. Ooh, it's they're gonna grow that tree. It's in
Yeah, but
Zion.
it's so old. How can it even sprout?
I don't know.
Yeah, I remember them reading that. Yeah.
Why you don't believe?
Yeah, but how can it sprout? It's so old, so dry and old. They, from how many years ago? Hundreds of years ago, 1,000 years.
Hashem cannot make miracles?
This is
I could have do anything.
Okay, finish.
But Bar Ilan can't do
But
everything.
Bar Ilan-
No, the same.
Yes.
Ah, okay.
So somebody did it at the time.
Okay, Halavai.
could be the science.
So let's see if those grapes.
Three scientists can revive it.
Scientists,
Possibly.
So I don't remember.
Hello, hi.
The whole time.
But as of now, the wines that we have, the Chassam Sofer says, no one puts water in wine. No one puts water in beer. People put water in vodka. That's true.
Ice
That's
or
true.
something, or make it cold.
Ice. Yeah.
A person should not be making kiddush.
How about to begin with?
People put seltzer in grape juice,
Yeah.
spritz.
No,
Yeah, that.
Look, I can do it.
That is everything. If Roiv, we had once a sheet on that. If Roiv is the seltzer, it's shahakal. If Roiv is grape juice, it's gofen.
There was sparkling
Grape juice.
grape juice. What's that?
No, they put CO2
Something-
with something else.
That's nothing. That
It's a
just
gas. It's a
No,
water.
but there's people that mixing like seltzer with the grape.
It's very good. I
My
mix
mother,
it.
it's very good. My
It's
mother
very
likes it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm telling
But
you.
not for kiddush.
There's a tshuva tzemach tzedek because we don't do mezigah today. So he says the bottom line is we go with Roiv. So if you have Roiv seltzer, it's shahakal. If you have Roiv grape juice,
It's good
it's a gofen. Okay, let's continue. Not only vodka you shouldn't be using be'emes, because as we said that vodka is chamar medina, and we have wine, and we said wine has to be available. Wine is very available to us.
Today, yeah.
It's
Today.
in New York. It's very available. It's only the Russians come from the old country, and Bazay there was no yain, so that's a bad habit, and they don't know how to kick that habit. But the really that there's no excuse to make kiddush or avdol ever on vodka.
Simchas Torah.
But for the Russians, they're not-
Simchas Torah
Also,
for the
somebody
second
should still
kiddush.
make kiddush on
Simchas
wine.
Torah for the second kiddush when you're a yoitz already kiddush and yayin,
Oh, then you,
then
make
you
a
can do a
vodka.
vodka.
but for the Russian, they're not allowed to do on vodka because the vodka for them is water.
No, it's chamar medina. Adarab. For
Chamar
them it's
medina.
rechoshet. It's rechoshet. If you have a dinner, and you have steak, and you have choshet and pumpkin, and you have good stuff, and you're not going to put a bottle of vodka on the table.
Oy vey.
Oy vey. Exactly.
Definitely.
The chloptzis, they need to have some vodka.
No?
Not jiritza chloptzi. So, but water, because I was a few years ago, I went to visit my Zayda, and he was so happy It was on the table. There was a bottle of vodka. What happened? At that date, it became legal to sell Zex Neinske in New York.
How many years ago?
It was a couple of years ago. It became legal.
One,
Huh?
that little bit, forgot about
Okay, I didn't say when. It was a couple of years ago. He was sitting in his kitchen, and he was very happy. He said it became legal, and someone just brought him today, and you could buy in New York Zex 96% alcohol.
Seriously, and that never used to be
I
a...
did
No.
one little cup, one.
Because their vodka,
Never-
regular Smirnoff, is 40%
I look at it, I
alcohol.
get chicken.
So this is
My head
96.
Ooh-ah.
But my Zayd is not a drunk. It's Chassidim, but still, it was cute, and the Zex 90. So we poured a cup for me and a cup for him. So he said, pour a little less and then add a little water. Because it's like, we're not Yankelovich here, that we have, you keep your in and out, whatever, he just said, L'chaim, shakel mit water, vek L'chaim. So it's, if you really drink, it's Zex 96%, you'll
Get it.
come out of your ears.
Wow.
So my Zayda said, add a little bit of water, and then machen L'chaim. So for vodka, you could add water, but the Chassam Sofer says that it comes to wine, and I think the same would apply to beer. Because I see today people do this. If it's a pikabola and it's real wine, you add a few drops of water.
Just
That's not a
few
problem.
drops.
But
Doesn't
It's good also.
But to be metakim pogum with water, I don't know.
That I don't know.
Weiter. In the top of page Tavkuf Tes. If the water is pogum, if the water is pogum, in other words, you have a cup of water, but you drank out of that cup. It's also possible. The water never becomes bottle in the wine, even though it's a ripe wine. You could taste it's a different wine. The wine that has water doesn't have water, so therefore it's not bottle. It's not bottle. Only mim b'mina is bottle b'roid. Mim shein b'mina is not bottle b'roid. So therefore, the water is not allowed to be pogum. If he has nothing to fix the pogum, if you have a choice to do ichzamazon without a kois, because you don't have wine that's not pogum, you only have pogum wine, use pogum wine. If it doesn't have chamar medina, if you better would be to use chamar medina. That means if you have yain pogum or bottled vodka, better use the vodka. But if you don't have the vodka, and the only thing you have is yain pogum, so you can use the yain pogum. Bottom line, not allowed to use yain pogum. There's a way to fix the pogum. Obviously, chas v'sholem to take one and throw it down the sink. It's not bekovedik to koshel broche. It's b'chlal. It's a busy yoichlin, and it's baltashchis. Doesn't make sense. You have to do it the proper way that it becomes ois pogum. So the way the Alter Rebbe says is to take from the bottle, put a little bit in the kois, take everything from the kois, and just pour it into the bottle.
Now I have a habit. I mean, it's a minute that Rabbi Kabbalah, with the leftover wine from Kiddush. Okay, I don't know. You leave a little bit overnight because it's kosher broth. You leave it. It keeps the broth.
Not to put it back in the bottle?
Not well.
What do you do with
A little bit only. You leave only a little bit of wine.
Shabbos Pataki use it?
We
And
put
you
it back
leave
in the
it there
bottle.
for the.
And then you throw
And then in
it
the
away.
morning you
Are you
wash
sure?
out.
Are you sure not to put it back in the bottle?
I learned that from Rav Nosson.
No, I think the pshat is not
What
to
about
use
wine?
next
What
day, but
about
to
if
take
you
away the
roll it?
pegima. You have to take away the pegima.
You don't use it anymore.
So what do
In
you
the
do with it?
morning, you wash it out. You don't leave much. You leave a little bit.
And what do you do with it next morning?
You wash it out. You throw it down.
No. I think you're
Because you
making.
leave unless you cover it.
Ask Rabbi Milstein. My understanding was that al pikabola there's an Indian to use
Two.
next time from the previous kosher bracha. But versteht sich al pidin you have to attack in the pegima. So you attack in the pegima. You take like the Alter Rebbe here says. You take from the bottle, you put in the kois. Take from the kois, you put in the bottle. And tomorrow you use this bottle that has in it a little
From
bit of the
yesterday.
yain from yesterday. The just like kosher yo. It has. Ask him.
No,
Okay.
you leave over a little bit from the kois on the table for the next meal, and from that, and then in the morning when you make kiddush, you leave it over to shalshudas.
Uh-huh. So I find out what the source
So the
is.
bracha should stay on the table. Okay.
Find out. Or it could be that at least in the next morning they light a metakim and put it back in the bottle and then.
But if it's uncovered all night, you can't do that anymore.
Throw
No,
it
it's-
away anyway.
If it's uncovered, even water, you're not allowed to drink in the morning.
Well, for those, yeah. So I don't know. Maybe he covers it.
The only time we throw away wine is by Pesach when we do the 10 markets. You don't know
That one you can throw on the goyim.
I'm saying that's the only wine that we look. Otherwise, there's no.
On the Sunday
no-
stroll, that Kabbalah, there's something to do with that wine.
I think I told you the story. I was in Guatemala after Pesach, so there's a shliach there. This is like after Achar Horei Achoshech, with there's still Indian tribes living around this huge lake, beautiful lake, and the Israelis love to come to such places. Meklepetzach there, So there's a shliach there, Israeli. And he says he has a seder. He has over 300 Israelis come. Over 300. Beautiful Chabad house he has. It's geknackt. So he said that he had his neighbor at the Chabad house. There was a disco, and there's a lot of tourists. There are tourists there. It's not a very popular for Westerns to come, but like Israelis are interesting people, like to hang out. And they were really not nice neighbors. He was having a hard time with them.
The disco.
Yeah. So his friend told him, well, "What's the shaila?" And the Agoda, the Rebbe writes that you have to be mechaven, and that the anger and the wrath that has to go in the goyim, the klippas, that you mechaven that goes out
From the
goyim.
dams.
Yeah. So take all when you do the next public seder, take all the wine. that
Put the
people-
lamps for there.
Yeah. Pour it into one big bucket
Yeah.
Give it to
and
them.
pour it onto
On
the
their thing,
pour it
yeah.
on the disco. And Sazem was at Zayin. So he said Kachava, he had a big thing, a shissel full of wine. After the Seder, he poured it on the roof of the disco. Kshaim noch Pesach, they closed down. No one knows why.
Wow.
He has now a contract
I heard that
for
story,
15
not the
years.
story like
15
Blood libel, the Jewish blood libel.
For 15 years, he has now a lease. He's building. He's now
He has a
expanding.
koyach.
He's expanding his
That
Chabad
does
house.
have a koyach.
Hagelan 300 even to be the caravan.
Yeah.
Tuma,
My
wine
Milton was
goes to
saying he
another
had a
tuma.
neighbor who put on
Get
the
him out of
Ratzmach things all the time, and always had problems. A neighbor, mama's attached house, and he did that with that wine, and they all of a sudden, boom, goodbye, they're not there anymore.
Goyim?
Goyim, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, you tried it.
Yeah,
So you see it
he's
works.
yeah,
You see it works in New York. It works. It works.
I tried it on my neighbor, it didn't work. Have a Greek mamzer, but it's such anti-Semites. They're so nice, show they are, but I see already.
If she's a Yov, maybe you have to pour some oil of the
That big Sony strawberries.
I can't get rid of them. I can't. There's so many years there. The day before me.
There is a wine taster. They close their eyes from the person, and they put a few bottles on the table, and he tastes, and he could tell you which one is which. So one guy really know every wine. So one Israeli guy says, "Okay, I'll trick him." Middle of the cup, he put water. He tasted, spit it. He tasted, spit it. Going crazy. Couldn't tell which one is this. He said, "Whoever said it is mine make a lot of money." It wasn't Muslim. It was just
Test the
water.
waters. Testing the waters, yeah.
There's
The
a
people who understand wine stuck it with the different, cold, dry, half, whoever understands it.
I don't
It's a big
understand.
tailor. They're willing to pay a lot of money if it's the right one.
It's like
I don't know if I go to somebody and I give them a bottle of wine, kosher wine, people look at it as like a nice
Yeah,
present.
yeah.
To me, they fool me with a $10 bottle, $40 bottle. I don't understand.
I can't tell the difference either.
Right, so the people who understand, it's really.
$40 about $10 bottle is.
When you taste it, the ultimate curse to a Frenchman is you tell them, "Vin de table,"
What does that mean?
Table wine.
Ah,
That's the worst.
cheap
Man. The
one.
worst.
That's the word.
Cheap one.
Yeah.
Daddy
I
tablet.
also look at the bottle.
The gallo. Remember the gallo one? The gallo. The cheap
Look at
gallo
the
one.
bottle. The more expensive bottle, they make it more fancier bottle. Attract the eyes.
that's
I don't
all I
know
know.
why.
I know if it's a fancier bottle.
They overcharge now for the Israeli wines. Very overpriced.
There's a nice Rashi. This, it's interesting. Sometimes, Chumash Rashi is so overlooked. I was learning a sugya, and I was just, it's these plants and things. You have to. So I opened up the art scroll, and the art scroll got the whole Gemara pshat wrong. Why did it got the Gemara wrong? And I couldn't. Finally, I looked at, there's a Rabbi Akiva Eger. He says, Ayin Rashi Chumash Pashas Vayishlach. And I'm sure that the big Talmidei Chachamim maybe that worked in the art scroll, but Chumash, what's a Chumash Rashi? What's a Chumash Rashi? Who looks at Chumash Rashi? Big Lamdonim. But after I looked at the Chumash and the Rashi, not only did it answer my question, that I murdered the Kachap al pi halacha, something that was negeya. It says that Reuven went out to get dudoim. What is dudoim? Got dudoim. Doim b'meich tzechitim. Rashi says the shvich shavchan shel shvotim, that they don't steal. They only took mena hefker. Ein pashtim yodim begezel. And there was a whole thing that he gave it to his mother, and the mother had the dudoim. Merochel said, "Can I have some dudoim?" She said, "Okay, we'll make a deal." So she got Yaakovina that night, and she davened, and with that schus, she had the baby Yisachar.
Yes,
Right. The ganze Yisachar comes from these dudoim. Gemara says three opinions what dudoim is. One is Yavruchim. It's a plant. I forgot the name in English. There's a plant. It's not a popular plant.
Rashi says it's called Arab Yasmin.
Oh. So Rashi says Sigli, Shu Esav, Nikra, Beloshin Yishmael, Yasmin, Jasmine. L'chayra, a simple little Rashi. So there's a Gemara in Brochus where the Gemara says that there's two types of things. Some of things are Atzei Psamim and some are Izbei Psamim. What's Atzei Psamim? So the Gemara says Simlak and Chilfidim, a few things that are Atzei Psamim. And Rashi says, what is the Atzei Psamim? He says, Balosh Nishmael, it's Yasmin. Then the Gemara says that there is something called Sigli, that's a Esav, it's a grass. Because it's a grass, it's Izbei Psamim. Rashi says it's violets. Good. So Rabbi Akiva Eger says in the Gemara to look at the Rashi. Why does he say to look at the Rashi? Because the Rashi is contradiction in the Chumash is contradicting the Rashi in the Gemara. The Rashi in the Chumash says Sigli. Sigli Shu Esav. It's a grass. So it should be
Isbei.
It should be Izbei. And then he says Abaloshan Aravi. It's Yasmin. And the Gemara he says Yasmin is the Atzib Psamim. So which one is it? That's what Rabbi Akiva Eger says to look in Rashi. So Akitzer, there is three opinions. Either you fix the Rashi here, or you fix the Rashi there. And if you fix the Rashi in Chumash, one Mefarshim, Mizrahi says, take out the words Sigli. Other Mefarshim say, take out the word Jasmine. The other Mefarshim say, in the Gemara, where it says Simlak, so Rashi says Yasmin, V'hu, and it's a type of the thing that has a flower with three flowers, and on top of that another three flowers. Which, B'chlal, that's not what a jasmine looks like. That's why it bothered me in Rashi. That's why I was looking in the art school. Maybe Rabbi Art School could help me out. Rabbi Art School took Rashi for face value and didn't even bother to look. That Rabbi Akiva Eger on the daf says to look in Rashi. There's a big mevucha here. So something has to be erased. Either the Rashi and Chumash is the Kiyah says wrong, which that's what I think is, because Rashi says v'hu it's not. So someone added it in Rashi. So or the Rashi and Chumash has to be changed. Either you take out the word Sigli or you take out the word Yasmin, but it doesn't add up. Because in the Gemara, Sigli is a Esav, is a grass, and it's Izbei Psamim. And Simlak is hard, and it's Atzib Psamim. And Rashi in the Gemara says Simlak is jasmine. And in the Chumash, he says Dudoim is Esav, Sigli, Jasmine. It can't be both. It's this one. Is it the Esav or is it the Eitz? It can't be the Esav on Sunday and the Eitz on Monday. Okay, so Bekitzer, so you have this a problem that Rashi. So then I realized achap of something that bothered me. The Alter Rebbe in Hilchas Bichsanen, where he talks about Atzib Samin, he says, what's Atzib Samin? He says rosemary. Rosemary. There's a few shittas of what's Atzib Samin. The lowest shitta, that Rashi says, jasmine. Most of the Shulchan Aruch brings the first pshat for Atzib Samin, jasmine. Why doesn't the Alter Rebbe say jasmine? So I realize why. Because there's a big mevucha here. There's something's wrong. Because Rashi in the Chumash and Rashi in the Gemara contradict each other. The Alter Rebbe said, I'm going to put my head in. If they erase a Rashi here, erase a Rashi there. Either one is not a Geshmak Pshat. We're going to start erasing a Rashi. But we know. But here Rashi says that it's Atzei. And the Chumash he says it's Izbei. So what should we do? So Alter Rebbe wants to give you a simple example of what's Atzib Samin. So he says, rosemary. We're going to say they're going to the story about rosemary. There's no Shaila, there's no suffix, there's nothing. Rosemary is rosemary. There's no three shittas on what's rosemary. That's right. Yeah. That's Atzib Samin, right. And that's why, because that's what I'm saying again. Because even though Rashi doesn't even bring rosemary. So why does the Alter Rebbe have to krich over there to rosemary? Say jasmine. Because jasmine is a problematic. The Rashi in Chumash says that jasmine is Izbei. And Rashi in the Gemara says jasmine is Atzei. Atzei is Izbei. So you have three Meforshim, erase this word. That's endik tzachnish. The Alter Rebbe says, you know what? I'll state, you know what? We can all agree rosemary is Atzei, and that's it.
So what's the doing?
So what's the doing? Veisvanish was the doing. But what's the Veis Hashem Azach? The Rebbe asks a Shaila.
Teko.
What is it? What's the big chiddush that they didn't steal? Is it a big chiddush not to steal? Aganev. What's the big chiddush that the Shvatim didn't steal? So the Rebbe in two places gives each one a different teretz. Very nice. Each teretz is a different. One teretz is just pashtus shebe pashtus. We're talking about little kids. In every generation, there's a certain klippus that there is the trend of the time. There's the trends. There's the currents. And we see from all the stories with Lloyd and the Campbells with the Eliezer, different than the other, that in those days, especially the young people, they had sticky fingers. It was like the accepted norm that everyone had sticky fingers. It's not like, it wasn't Western society. It was a different civilization. It was very much the norm that Gemalim a little ate from his field and the other field. Everyone had a little sticky fingers. That was the trend of the time. Yaakov Avinu raised his children that the Nishnah Geya, what's the trend of the time? Nishnah Geya, what the New York Times says. Nishnah Geya, what are the standards by this goy, by a goy in Paris? Or what's fashion?
What's the fashion?
What's the Geya? What 3 goyim in Milan, 6 goyim in Paris think? The Geya is what the Torah Kedosha says. The Nishnah Geya, what the goyim say. He raised his kids at Nishnah Geya what the trend of the time was. Nageya is what the Torah says also is also. That's a pip shat. Another pshat that ever says in Lomdus is that Rashi doesn't say Shaloi Gozlo, they didn't steal. Shaloi Poshtu Yedeim Begezel. Versteht sich Gezel they didn't do. The Gezel is Gezel. Even something which was a chshash, Poshtu Yedeim Begezel. Something which is maybe not absolute Gezel, but there's a chshash of Gezel there. So even that, loy poshtu yudeim begezel, because gzela is a terrible thing. The Alter Rebbe holds that even chatzi shir of gzela is like So and by the way, that's why the goyim it says a goy is nereg al poches meshava pruta. So it's funny the goyim when they want to say someone is cheap, they say he Jews you, right? Yeah. He's a Jew, but the Jews say the opposite. Yidna not makbid an apochas meshava pruta. Yidna not makbid. A goy is nereg al shachas. A goy is nereg al pochas meshava pruta. A goy is nereg al pochas meshava pruta. So it's sometimes we accept it. The Welt says that the Jews are fakert. It's not true. Apitoy the Jews are mevater apochas. Goyim are not mevater an pochas meshava pruta.